Hey yo, it's SBT. Welcome back to second episode of this new mini series we have going on. Had someone comment, gave me a good idea. Since I'm more discussing my train of thought and how I played the games and what could have been done here and there instead of actually reviewing the game in depth, I think it's appropriate to rebrand this to Hanchan recaps rather than Hanchan reviews. I think it's just a little bit more not misleading, if anything. Second thing is, someone has messaged me on Discord saying that the last episode of this has actually inspired them to start their own series. They're a really high level play in the Australian community, so please look out for that. I'm not sure if they're dead set on doing it yet, so I'm not going to reveal their name, but look out for that because they're a high level player, and I think there's going to be a lot to learn from their material. The season has been a disaster so far. We are currently, I think, firmly in 24th of 24 players in the league. Let me just have a look. Where is it? You think I'd know where I put my own channels? Yeah, we are effective. Yeah, we are 24th of 24 at minus 276. So we're very firmly on the way to minus 300, which could be better. It has been a disastrous season so far, but let's have a look at how we got there in the first place. So it's Hanchan 3 of session 2. And as we discussed before, we're aiming to make a couple less mistakes here, more just making sure that I don't make the mistake and I'm pressing for advantages when I can. But obviously, as you can see in this first hand, we are facing down a dealer reach already with a fairly strong hand of our own. We have a Tanyao Chitoy possibilities on the line. Tanyao Sunshoku possibilities on the line. And in turn, what is this? Turn 10, we're given our first major decision. You can, what do you do here? Do you cut 5 mon? Do you cut 2 mon? Do you cut something else? Cut 2 mon in the game. Just wanted to keep this nice and simple. I could draw a 4-7. 4-7 mon for 10 pi, draw like a 3 mon for 10 pi even, and cut the 5 mon. But if you look at the current discards, you're eventually going to have to cut a 5 mon or a 3 mon anyway. And so in review, we actually determined that it would be better to just instantly cut the 5 mon here as you hold up your Tanyao Sunshoku Dora chances, as well as Pinfu, obviously. And it's kind of like a full like East 1 Zensu line. So we also ran this through Naga and believed that that would be better as well. But upon drawing a couple more tiles, we see it's just like, okay, it's just a little bit too hard to push now and forward into the next hand. You have only Hong to our right in 10 pi, waiting on 4-7, so which, it's probably good that we folded when we did, since we drew it right here. Moving on to East 1 stick in the middle, we opened up with a pretty decent hand as Richie Pinfu Dora Aka chances, picking up the 5, 6, 6, 7. You've now got, Ipeko chances, and drawing this 7 so to create the 7, 7, 8, 8 shape was probably the dawn of the first mistake here, where we cut the 7 so. It doesn't make any sense. I think in game I was really looking to draw like a 3 pin so I could cut 7 so and put myself on like a Pinfu shape. But if you look at the actual shape of the hand, you draw a 3, discard 1 pin, you draw a 3 pin, then you just, you slam on the Shunpon weight, which is actually what Naga recommends. So, you know, if you ran this through, you know, chess engine, for example, that'd be like double question mark blunder. But the biggest mistake in this hand comes right here, where we pick up this 9-man and inexplicably cut the 1 pin. I can't tell you why I did this. Just bad. Like, yeah, just bad. Murarichi's and Mozart bails us out, but, you know, now we go into another dealership hand when we realistically could have taken home something really spicy there. East 1-2, we pick up this faster looking hand. We get to pawn the Haku right away. Then we've got 2 Dora in hand, so we're pretty happy with a 3-9 here, especially with the 2 Honda in the middle. And then we finally get to this 5-man cut from Iwin to our left, and this was a pretty interesting discussion I had with Mura. Also, big shout out to Mura, who did Hanchan reviews with me after we played the games. I think normally I would have taken this for Chi-ten, and Mura agrees that we should have taken this for Chi-ten, as you can draw 6-man and 6-8 pin to improve your shapes, but I took this as pawn. Thinking that the 2 5-man shape was relatively stronger. I think in my head, the way I thought about it is that 2-man's really strong with a 5-man cut. And looking in from the outside, it really wouldn't make any sense for someone to take a pawn when they have a 3-4-man. So I wanted to trap someone on a 2-5-man, I think. But obviously, or rather unfortunately, that doesn't quite work, and we deal straight into Ewan's hand, which was just as fast as ours. Do I think this is a mistake? I don't think so. I think it's more of a playstyle preference type thing. But it does kind of cut you off to a lot of improvements. Realistically, the only improvement you've got is the 3-man draw itself, where you put yourself up to a Mungun hand. If the AI Snake Overlord is all you care about, Naga takes this as a Chi, but it's fairly close. Sorry, Naga takes it as a pawn, but it's very close. So I think either or is fine. I don't necessarily think either is a mistake. So the game's looking pretty disastrous, but we're only 5,200 behind second place, so it's still playable. And we pick up this Honetsu looking hand, but with so many runmans in Manzu and Sozu, it's kind of hard to really commit yourself to pushing the Honetsu here, I feel. And the other line as well is that I'm looking for a way to use this Dora. But unfortunately, we don't quite find a way to commit to the Dora shape before Mura reaches. And I Tenpai as well. Now, I think it's this is a fairly interesting line, because we're waiting on 6-9 Sozu, which is obviously Genbutsu to Mura. Normally versus a dealer Richi, if you're on Yaku Tenpai, you should Dama, just so you can pick up that Genbutsu a lot easier. But I felt with the having to reach you cutting the Dora, I feel like that's, you know, screaming that you're Tenpai anyway. So I slammed this reach, which is capitalized on immediately, where, you know, I managed to pressure a little bit here, and Hong dealt in, giving me Ura for a Mungun. Moving us into East 3, where we've got a very nice starting hand. There's Pinfee opportunity, there's Ipeka opportunities. There's even Tanyao on the line as well, but picking this 1-2 Mung makes it a little bit harder for Tanyao, where we then find this nice Ipeka looking shape. So Tanyao is now, a nicer Pinfee Ipeka shape is on the line. We eventually get to the mid game where Ewan slams this Ricci on the 6-pin, and then we immediately pick up Tenpai right after this. And I think the really interesting thing with this hand, in contrast to literally 1 hand ago, is that here we had to discard the Dora for a value light hand, where this one we have to we can cut a safe-ish looking Haku for a 6-pin Genbutsu. And I feel almost as if this should have been dumbered. Mura disagreed with me. This is a fine slam. If you were first to Tenpai, you absolutely slammed this, which I agree with. But if you ran this through Naga, Naga actually strongly believes this should have been a dumber. And I think the difference maker is that we have basically a Mungun hand if we win on the 3-pin, and we have a 5-2 hand. 5-2? No. Pin Fuyu Peko Dora. Yeah, it's a Mungun either way. So we have a Mungun hand regardless of whether or not we reach you. So I think that's a deal breaker, is that this one had value and a safe entry tile. But unfortunately, Mura deals in with the 9-so into Yuan Sun Menchan, moving us into East 3, where at this point we're now 2nd place, so big reversal from just a couple of hands ago. This hand's kind of awkward. We only have the pay for the Dora, and you can see that there's a couple very quick calls, including this 7-8-9-so call. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, I can't cut Manzu easily. Can't cut Sozu easily. I guess I'll just play by ear until I get a little bit more information. Then this free so pond comes, and then I'm thinking, okay, I'm just out of this hand. I can never cut the pay now. I guess I'll just cut the one suit that hasn't been pond or cheat yet. And eventually it just leads to a fold, because, you know, what else are you going to do against this? Are you really going to cut Dora into 2, Honitsu style calls? Don't really think so. So that's where we end up. Funnily enough, Mura wasn't Tenpai. I think he folded at some point, but it's hard to tell here. Ewan and Wildstar are the only 2 in Tenpai. Moving into East 3-2, we picked up, a fast-ish looking hand, but again, it's a little bit value light. Looking back on this, I don't think value was probably the consideration here I should have made. It's definitely the speed. We're only around 7,000 behind first place. Ripping away their dealership would have been really good. But with 2 fast and easy calls from Mura and another call from you, and it's looking pretty dismal if you ask me. And eventually we get to the point where Hong does deal into you, and for another 2,900, moving us into East 3-3, where we pick up another stinker of a hand. You could argue that there's potential for like Pinfu Dora possibilities, but you got to draw properly that way first. Unfortunately, we Tenpai on the bad weight, so I took the 1-cut Sha and Iso. Mura made a comment that the 6-0 should have come out first instead, because the 3-so Ricci makes the 1-so look really dangerous, which, yeah, I do agree with. In review and in game, I cut the 3-so first and then immediately realized the mistake I made, but unfortunately, you got to live with these. And fortunately, we eventually pick up this 1-so. So 2,600 puts us pretty firmly into 2nd place, I feel, into our dealership with this interesting looking hand. You have Honitsu style possibilities, especially with this pawn, where, okay, now I cut the 6-so posturing towards the Honitsu line, but unfortunately we just didn't draw any useful tiles. 4-mon is pawned away as well, making this 3-5 shape really weak. So eventually I started posturing towards just a regular hand. 5-pin pawn made it really hard to play as well. And eventually we just deal into this mess. Unfortunate. What can you do? There were a couple of comments made right around here. It's just like, why do we keep this Haku? If you're not going to cut immediately, you might as well cut it. Cutting the 6-pin is pretty bad because there's still the Yucca out there. Even 1 month might have been a better decision as well, but you know, on reflection, there's a lot of things we could have done better. That moves us into South 1, where again Mura makes a couple really fast calls and dealer makes a couple really fast calls. This time, however, our hand looks relatively playable. If we just manage to pair up on something and give ourselves a nice head, we potentially have a hand. We now have 6, 7, 8 Sunshoku as well, so we're really hoping to win this hand. 6, 7, 8 Tanyao Sunshoku chances. The Friso gives us a Sun Menchan. That third call comes through, and then this 5-pin Chi is made. I think this was a tilt moment. In game, I remember saying, okay, so if I don't take this Chi, I'm never going to get to Chi again, and I need to match pace with the other guys on the table, otherwise I just won't win this hand. That was obviously a miscount. If you look at the board, there's only 2 5-pins on the board. I think in game, considering how fast the hand went, I felt like there was at least 6 cut. This Chi is awful. You reduced a Hanuman potential hand to capping out at 2, maybe 3,000 maximum, 3,900 maximum. So this Chi was definitely a mixture of pressure and tilt. I felt like I just really wanted to win the hand. Which we did in the end, I think. But we could have just drawn the tiles ourselves. So I think this was definitely a game-losing mistake. But in the moment, it didn't feel like a game-losing mistake because it's like, man, we won a hand, we just diffused that situation. But that hand should have been the hand that won us the game. But anyway, moving on into South 2, we picked up another okay-ish looking hand. There's an argument that I could have maybe kept this 2-pin instead of cutting this and cut the Haku instead, which is 100% right. There's no reason for me to be playing defensively when I should be attacking at this point in the game. And it's frustrating because if you look at all my replays, this is a common mistake I'm making. Especially when I cut the Haku the next turn anyway, it, like, looking back on it, it's actually quite infuriating. And it's something that I'm going to be working on in the coming days. But anyway, lots of Richis again. Not much I can do about it, so positioning to fold around it. Take the Chi so I can position into Tanyao Tenpai. But eventually it's just over. We draw too many yucky tiles, leading to Wild Star and Yuan Tenpai. South 3, once again picking up a stinker, but there's 1,300 in the middle, so we want to try to win the hand at least. Hatsu Pon from Hong is unfortunate, but you know, we play on, we see what we can do. Finish up a couple of shapes, which is really nice. Trim down the shapes, position towards Tanyao. Pick up this Friso Chi. Now, I wasn't sure what exactly I was doing with this Friso Chi. I think the issue is this 1-pin pawn, Chi rather, screams I have the Dora. Because it doesn't make sense otherwise. Itsu is very likely not on the table. Honitsu is very likely not on the table. It's not Chun, it's not Haku, it's not Hatsu, it's not East. So literally the only thing left is Chanta, which, you know, looking at this, it's not likely, or Nandora-san. And I took this chi anyway.
Chi.
Like Tuso hasn't cleared. 5-mon, okay, whatever, it's cleared. But what do I do after this? You know, like, if I pick up something deadly, then I'm just floating in the water.
Sumo.
And then, you know, you and Sumo's, and it turns out to be a 2-5, so wait on Nandoro-san. So I read it correctly, but I played it horrifically wrong. And yeah. Moving into South 3, I think this is where the desperation starts setting in. We pick up like this pinfooey looking hand. And then reach on Richie Pinfu, but 8-mon is dead. So it's kind of like, why did I take this reach? It's basically a 5-mon Hanchan, which is awful. And then, you know, Pon and Sumo come out, and it's like, why am I doing this? Why do I just make these bad plays? It's just like, we're already at this point in the league, like 200 points down, and then I donated another point. Like, do I really have these points to lose? Who knows? Moving into South 3-3, we finally have a glimpse of a chance. I pick up this Pinfu Dora looking style hand. This 4-pin comes out, and it's like, maybe I should pawn this, but I feel like the hand's too good to let it to pawn, so I let it go. Then this reach comes out, and in the previous episode I said it would never reach his bad weights, so I can push when I get the chance. And I feel like I'm really lucky that this hand was worth fighting for, because when dealing in here, I wasn't tilted that I dealt into Chi Toydora 2 from dealer. I was tilted that he reached this. Because this reach made no sense when you already had a confirmed Mungun versus the other time they took this exact line. And I wonder if it's because Haku is just an easier tile to win on than 1-pin as the last one. But this was lucky that I had a good hand to fight on, because it was kind of like, well, okay, yeah, what can you do? And then, you know, we're playing from the shitter now. We turned second place into, shit, we're fourth place. Picked up this nice and easy Richie, but it's exceptionally value light. We have to hit Ura 3 to make anything work. Then these two Chis come out, and then this Kun comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, what is the point of this Kun? And then eventually, while Hong deals in, which is beneficial for us, because now we have a chance to fight for not last. And we pick up a decent hand to do that. Where, you know, I'm looking at, you know, some sort of value-heavy hand, if we can just pick up Sentai. But Hong manages to reach first. And then at this moment, it's like, well, we're in danger. And we kind of just piss around, looking for any opportunity. We pick up 7-pin, where now we've got Itsu on the line. Keep playing. No 10, no 10, no 10, and then bang! We managed to 10 tie. Which is quite unfortunate because from there it's we had a hand that we looked like we could fight for, but the most we could make was 10 pie. And Yakunashi Tenpai at that. So yeah, what can you do? East 4-1, we once again pick up a really strong hand. And the South Pond comes out from Mura really fast. But at this point, it's just like, no, we're closing our eyes. We just gotta go as fast as we can. We pick up the Apergo shape. Waiting. Kun comes out. Okay, that's Urodora possibilities and reach. But as if to spit in our face, the God of Fortune gives Wazza a reach as well, where we eventually deal into the putts. I actually had someone contact me after, not this Hanchan, but the following Hanchan was a disaster as well. And I'll be quite frank, I don't think I've got it emotionally in me to review that game, to recap that game as well. They basically just checked on me to see if I was okay, because there have been a series of unfortunate events. I think part of being an aspiring mahjong player is that, you know, you just gotta take the hits as they come. And I'd be lying if I said I've played this perfectly. There's no way I could have done better. There's so much more I could have done better. But, you know, when you get hands like this given to you, but then someone just jumps over you and wins, it does hurt. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm not quitting because they were concerned that I was about to quit. I unfortunately have one too many responsibilities. Oh, fortunately, I guess, depending on how you look at it. One too many responsibilities in the mahjong community to quit at this very moment. Give it a couple years, maybe that changes, but who knows. Season's a disaster, but there's still plenty of time to recover. There's another. Oh, that's a lie. There's not a lot of time to recover. There's another 3 seasons to play. Correction, 3 sessions to play, where the possibility to recover is definitely there. I think top 6 is now out of reach, but I'll give it my best shot. Because, you know, that's what mahjong's about, is that, like, you just have to do your best with whatever's given to you. So that is what I'll do. In closing, keep an eye out for content made by other Australians in the Richu Mahjong community. I know Ted and this is gonna look bad. I forgot his name. Ted and Warmest Rain. I'm sorry, bro. I forgot your name. Daniel, I believe. Ted and Daniel are streaming their games. So is Mura, Muranim. I'll actually say his name. Yeah, Mura's streaming his games as well, and your mystery high level player is going to be putting out a recap as well. So please look forward to that.